What is going on over in Buried Nation? This is Brian Nemeth bringing you another edition of the Over and Buried podcast, bringing you a prediction episode for WWE Money in the Bank, coming to us live from the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, California, June 7th, starting at 7 p.m. So a little bit of a earlier start time, this coming off of a big weekend for all of wrestling and WWE. Just prior to tonight's PLE, we have the crossover PLA with AAA and NXT, bringing us Worlds Collide. We have some superstars that are working double duty tonight here, which we'll discuss in a little bit, and I think that'll impact our predictions here a little bit. So, I think a lot of us, for this card, there could be a few of us in WWE fans that are a little bit bummed for a few things. First being that there are only 4 matches on this card. Major championships, main event players are not being defending their championships across the board, which I think is souring a lot of fans. We don't have champions from our brands respectively competing tonight. With this being such a pivotal PLE for the WWE calendar, I'm a bit surprised that we're not getting those main events. But could that play into a possible cash in tonight then? So we'll see. A lot of us also might be a little bit disappointed that CM Punk isn't versing John Cena tonight. A lot of us, I think at the beginning of the year, once Cena captured the title, we're pulling for this match, and of course we're running out of appearances for John Cena. I'm not sure how many we're down to now, but just keep in mind, you all, we are in June, so we only have 6 months left of John Cena in his WWE in-ring career. So I'm a bit perplexed here. And finally, what I am actually really upset about is Karrion Kross. Why is he not in this Money in the Bank ladder match? He has earned this. Just want to point that out. Why not Karrion Kross? I've been shouting that from the rooftops. So we need more Karrion Kross. So get it together, WWE. Come on, let's book him into pushing him to superstardom. For me, Money in the Bank is not about who just needs to win this match at this point in time, who needs to win the briefcase specifically. It's about what you're going to do with the briefcase following your win. So who could do the most with that briefcase as well also is a factor that we need to keep in mind. But I think... the card, I'm not sure exactly how the matches will be slated. I think the card here specifically might go the men's Money in the Bank match, then Lyra versus Becky for the Intercontinental Championship, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and then finally ending with the tag match. But let's dive a little bit deeper here into each match and what I feel is the prediction for each are. So first, let's talk about that Women's Intercontinental Championship here between Lyra Valkyria as the champion and Becky Lynch. There is a bit of a stipulation here where if Becky loses, she no longer can compete for the Intercontinental Championship so long as Lyra is the champion. I think this is going to be, another brutal match. I hope we get a little bit of a darker side to Lyra that she's been alluding to. I think we're going to see a returning Bayley, finally, who is out for her revenge against Becky Lynch, who ultimately took her out of the WrestleMania moment, the tag match that she had slated with Lyra as her partner. So I think Bayley is going to make an appearance here in an effort to help Lyra, though, to even the playing field. I think Becky is going to, throw a lot of cheap shots out there. She's going to try to do everything she can in her power to, get the championship off of Lyra. But, I think Bayley's efforts is going to ultimately cost Lyra this match. We get maybe a roll-up from Becky on Lyra, or maybe a pinfall like Becky had at WrestleMania 35 against Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair in that triple threat match. Official prediction, Becky Lynch becomes the new Intercontinental Championship. I think ultimately the road that we're going here is that this is going to lead to a triple threat match between the three of them, Bailey, Becky, and Lyra for Evolution 2, the all women's PLE. And just as a note, I went to that first PLE, so shout out to Long Island there. So we will either, get that triple threat, I believe, at Evolution 2 or, one of the two nights of SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium. So official prediction, Becky, your new Intercontinental Championship. Next here, we're going to discuss the tag team match between Cody Rhodes and our World Heavyweight Champion, Jey Uso, versus our WWE Champion, John Cena, and Logan Paul. A lot of us, I think, feel as though this match is a bit thrown together. What's the significance of Logan Paul joining forces with John Cena for this? WWE, essentially we are wasting another appearance from John Cena for a tag team match when he, is our all-time, 17-time WWE champion. So, this might, a lot of us might think that this is yet another wasted appearance here. And how does this match further the story of John Cena ruining wrestling this year? So that's leaving a lot of questions for me. Let me know what you think there. But, with this match, again, I just think it's thrown together. What's going to be the outcome? Will we see Travis Scott make another appearance? I know there's been some speculation maybe that he is involved in maybe a SummerSlam match. Will we see The Rock appear potentially? But let's not get our hopes up there. We know that's probably not going to happen. There's a lot of speculation that Cody Rhodes is going to be the one to dethrone Cena at the end of the year during his final appearance, Cena's final appearance and match there. So I think ultimately, if this one is the main event of the card of Money in the Bank, I think we're going to see John Cena and Logan Paul come out as the victors. Perhaps we do get that attempted cash-in from the victor of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. But if this match isn't the main event on the card, I might want to go with Cody and Jey here to further Cody and his right to that rematch, and also make Jey look good for his upcoming match on Monday night for the World Heavyweight Championship with Gunther. So this one I'm a little bit, perplexed at. I do think, we might get that John Cena, Logan Paul victory. Next, want to talk about the women's 2025 Money in the Bank ladder match. This is by far my favorite match on the card. I would be happy regardless of whichever women wins this match tonight. Everyone has a stake to its claim to win this match, but let's break this down here a little bit more. Starting from what I feel is the least likely possible outcome, and that being, to me, being Julia, the victor. She is a new member of the SmackDown roster, clearly establishing her feud with Zelina Vega and the U.S. women's title. So, in my opinion, Julia, I don't see winning this match. In a similar fashion, I have to go with Stephanie Vicaire as the second least likely. As a fan, I'm a huge fan of Stephanie. So as a fan, I'll be rooting for Stephanie to win this match. So hands down rooting for her. There's no doubt in my mind that Stephanie will be champion within the next year or so. I do believe, women's world title match against Io would be a banger of a match. Amazing in-ring work between the two of them. But Stephanie is new to the roster as of Monday, and as we know, she's also working double duty tonight. She has her tag match at Worlds Collide, so that could factor into the outcome of the match. But I don't believe Stephanie is going to win this match, but I believe she's going to be involved heavily in the finish. I do believe she will be the one climbing the ladder, nearly reaching the briefcase. Ultimately, we do get some sort of interference or shenanigans that happen, ultimately leading to the eventual winner of the women's Money in the Bank match. Now, here's where it gets a little bit difficult here for me because, again, any of these women deserve this spot and have earned this spot. Next out, I have to go with Alexa Bliss. She is no stranger to this match. She's newly come back to WWE on a full-time basis. However, I do like how WWE has teased, putting together that feud with Charlotte Flair. Eventually, I think we're going to have her align with the Wyatt Six. But for her as a former winner, would love to have her win this match as well, but I just don't see it for tonight. And this one was a bit tricky and difficult for me, and sad for me to say, but I do believe that Rhea is the next one out here. She is built for being a champion in WWE. She even said on SmackDown, this is the first time that I had to compete in this type of match because, I never had to, compete in this style match before. She's always been champion. So I think we have to have her away from maybe the main event title scene as of right now. I honestly would love to see her team up with Stephanie Vaquer and go for those tag team titles against Liv and Raquel. So I think that could be a great direction for the two of those women to go in. But as sad as it is for me to say, I don't see Rhea Ripley winning this match. So that leads us to the final two competitors in this match. I have to go against Roxanne here. She's been poised to take the next step in her WWE career. She's been one of the last competitors eliminated in the Royal Rumble. She's competed in the Elimination Chamber match. She's now competing in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So her winning this briefcase would be an excellent way to continue the story of the implosion of the Judgment Day with Dom trying to bring her in, or with her trying to force herself into the Judgment Day. But I do feel as though the seeds are planted enough there that we don't need to add too much to that or add too much fuel to the fire there. We're already at that tipping point. So unfortunately, I don't have Roxanne winning this match, which leaves me to my pick and the winner of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, Naomi. So this is arguably her best character work that we've seen. I do feel the Glow character has been stale for quite some time. So the proceed with caution gimmick, we can have that, caution tape all over the briefcase. They could sell that in arenas on WWE Shop, etc. She hasn't been a main event champion since 2017, where she was SmackDown Women's Champion. So her time is now. She's kind of been in the shadow of Bianca, who's oftentimes always in the main event scene, as well as Jade, who is, the up-and-comer who everyone feels as though, she's inevitably on the path to being a main event world champion at some point in time. Also, Naomi has, already planted some seeds with Tiffany Stratton here in the past, so, I think there's a lot of story to tell, but I think, Naomi is poised for this win. So, official prediction, Naomi. And that finally leaves us to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match here. So honestly, I'm a bit puzzled about this lineup. There's no CM Punk, guys, there's no Drew. And again, there's no Karrion Kross. Where is Kross? Come on, WWE. Triple H, do something. Book it. We need to push this man. So I can't stress enough that WWE needs to push Karrion Kross, but that's for another video. But again, let's go through who least likely would be winning this match. So have to start with Andrade. I am bummed for him. He hasn't gotten that big break on the main roster in WWE. To become, a top superstar. He has, a lot of the tools. He has worked on his promo skills as well. But arguably, he's the one that needs this win the most just to further his career in WWE. But I just don't think that's going to be happening today. Next, I have Penta. He has, shown the world that he can compete as a single star. But ultimately, I think they're going in a direction that he will reunite with his brother Rey Fenix and go for the tag team titles. So I'm calling it now, SummerSlam, Street Profits versus Lucha Bros. So put that book that right now. I take my money for that matchup. But honestly, I thought Ray could have came out on SmackDown and helped Penta. That could have prolong or that could have gotten us that formulation of that tag team sooner rather than later. But I don't see Penta winning here. Next, Solo Sikoa. He needs this win as well. He's been falling further and further down the card ever since Jacob Fatu has come into WWE. I think the original thought was for Solo to take what Jacob is right now, taking that spot. But card subject to change, as we know. So, to further that story we got last night with Jacob, Solo in that backstage segment with JC Mateo, I was watching with my girlfriend and I said, ooh, Jacob is going to walk through the doorway here at the end of that segment. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happens. So seeds are planted for there. So we're getting Solo versus Jacob at some point in time. So I don't see Solo there. But by the way, at the beginning of SmackDown, that standoff between Jacob and Bron Breakker, I could not have been more happy to see that. My prediction eventually is to have that World Heavyweight Championship match between the two of those superstars at WrestleMania 42. So that's what I'm predicting for 42. But definitely not going to be Solo. So here's where it gets a little bit difficult. We have El Grande Americano, Gable, working double duty in that AAA Mega Championship match against El Vikingo. So could we, possibly see Americano win this match and cash in for the AAA championship? Doing what Chad Gable couldn't, because they're two separate superstars. But that's kind of intriguing to me. I think Chad has made the most of a lot of his opportunities. El Grande has made the most of his opportunities. I wouldn't be upset with El Grande Americano winning that, but I don't have him here today, which leads us to the final two. We have LA Knight, who needs this win as well. What else do we have for him in WWE? LA Knight could go for the TNA championship. That is a compelling argument there. There is some history with LA Knight and TNA. We could also have, LA Knight cash in against Jey Uso Monday night after that World Heavyweight Championship match. Then we also have Seth Rollins. This is the obvious choice right here. He's in a major faction. He's looking to be the future of the industry. He's been here before, in this match. No stranger to winning the Money in the Bank. Could we see Seth win again and have another heist of the century? Maybe there's a possibility that Seth cashes in on John Cena at the end of John Cena's career in his final match. We could have Seth cash in easily on Jey Uso during the tag team match if that's the main event. Or we can have Rollins cash in on Monday night as well after the World Heavyweight Championship match. So a cash in with Seth could be, as soon, as humanly possible that we could see. But it's really hard for me to pick against Seth Rollins, World Freaking Champ. But I think we're going to get some outside interference. There's going to be Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed involved in this match, trying to help out Seth. But even the numbers, I think we're going to get both CM Punk coming out as well as a returning Roman Reigns to work together. Two bitter rivals, two enemies working together to cost Seth this match. And then I think we're going to get Grande Americano and LA Knight climbing up the ladder. Ultimately, LA Knight gets this victory. So would love to see that there for Knight. So there you have it. Those are my picks. I have Becky. Again, if it's at the end of the card, I have Cena and Logan Paul and a potential cash-in attempt. Then we have in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, I have Naomi. And then finally in the men's match, I have LA Knight. Coming out as the victor. So let me know what you guys think. I'll be tuning in 7 p.m. tonight here on Peacock. We have Money in the Bank. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's get the conversation started. As always, thank you for the house.